And we're on.
And we are on yet again, brother.
Okay, for the people who don't know, yet again has a story behind it. And the story involves me coming here to just interview Parth, which we'll get to know very soon about, in Mumbai, in a pretty, like, less noisy place, actually. It was pretty good.
Early in the morning.
Early mornings, it was overcast. It was like the perfect weather for an outdoor shoot. Gradually, clouds kept coming and going. And I was like, that's good shade. And when I come back home after all the recordings, utter disaster. I was like, Parth, you got no clue how the recording came. I want to see you again. I want to scale the same mountain one more time with you. And it was so kind of Parth to make sure that he did say yes to it. कोई और सुपरस्टार होता ना तो नहीं होता.
देखो पहले तो मैं सुपरस्टार नहीं हूँ and secondly you will be surprised of the mountains that I've scaled after I met you, which I could have never spoken about last time when we met. And these are not physical mountains, these
Alright.
are personal disasters in life.
Oh my. Okay.
So something interesting will come out today. Very happy to be here, man.
For sure. So, for an intro, we have Parth Upadhyay, Maharashtra's youngest mountaineer to have scaled Everest. And if I'm right, the age is 26?
24.
24. Right. So, there's a story in that. I'm sure if you go to Parth's channel on YouTube, you'd get all of that digest. And for a person like me, that's like, for me, this is a pinnacle. Having to sit face to face next to an Everest summiter, getting to know about the journey, and then trying to relate to how much you have to do as a person who just tries to do his occasional small peaks around southern and mid India to make it to the Himalayas and then further on. Because for that, it's not just the muscle, it's not just the hard work. There's a little bit more. We'll come to know about that. So, Parth, you want to give a quick introduction about yourself for my viewers?
It's a very hard thing always. Who am I? I don't know. What do I do? I climb mountains. Since the age of 15, I've been doing that. Apart from that, I coach people to climb mountains. I also lead people on treks and expeditions. And I make videos on YouTube about climbing mountains. So, whatever I do, it is all surrounded with the mountains. And most of the things I'm able to do, people who I'm able to meet, is because Everest came in my life. And I get to meet amazing people like you because I climbed Everest. So, Everest has been a beautiful medium for me to be able to experience life in a much better way.
And you're one of those fortunate people who've been able to convert your passion into your profession. I mean, that's like a dream for most. And when it comes to adventure, I've seen a lot of people who just say I'm a trek leader or I'm a whatever, and I'm just doing it for my 9 to 5 or my rosy roti. And there's the others who are like working corporate jobs and this and that, and who say, no, one day I wish I could just do my expeditions and adventures and hope that would have been my profession. How did you get that connect?
I just came back from Nepal 2 days back.
I can see that in the coughing.
I have the classic Khumbu cough of the Everest Valley, the Khumbu region. Everybody, almost everybody gets that little cough. So it's a good thing to bring back from the mountains. But yes, how did I get into professionally climbing mountains? On the contrary, I didn't know anything else. I did my engineering, but that never aligned with me. Nothing wrong with engineering, nothing wrong with corporate world. Everything and everyone, whatever is, whatever everyone is doing has their own contributions in the world. So nothing to take away from that. And a lot of time people, when they talk to me, they say like, "Oh, you climb mountains professionally. We only do corporate world." No, that's not a nice way to look at things, because as a human being, either you can love what you do or do what you love. So if you're not able to do what you love, at least you must learn how to do whatever you're doing with some love. So even if one is in a corporate world sitting with their laptops, nothing wrong with that.
It's a corporate mountain.
Corporate mountain, and you should learn how to do that with as much love and devotion. But for me, luckily these two things aligned. What I love and love what I do came together somehow. And in the first lecture of my engineering college, I realized that this is not for me. But now 4 years were there in front of me, and it was good
Is
because at
is that
that
the lecture you said the F word in?
that one, I just knew that this is not what I am made for, engineering. But if not this, then what? I did not know it back then.
Right.
So I made it very clear in my mind. Let's go through the college, and by the passing of time, I'm sure I will realize what I want to do in my life. And lo behold, in the second year of my college, a friend of mine was starting a adventure company of his own,
Mm.
and I said, let's do it together. And
Okay.
by then I had already been trekking
Right.
for a few years,
Yeah.
and started leading treks. I was in Ahmedabad
Okay.
for my engineering.
Right.
Every Friday evening after the lecture, I used to catch a train
Okay.
to come to Mumbai.
Right.
Saturday, Sunday, lead a trek.
Right.
Directly from the trek, Sunday evening, catch a train to Ahmedabad for Monday morning
Mm.
engineering lectures.
Right.
So I did this 2 years to build the company up, to make sure that after my engineering is done, I can tell my parents कि see, itna package mil raha hai, and this is what I'm earning by
Right.
my own.
Right.
So that happened very well in the
So that was an engineered transition.
it was a very well engineered transition. That's a very well way to say it, because these things have to be well engineered, right? If you are taking a leap of faith, okay, that decision can be a leap of faith, but the way to get there has to be very well engineered. If you are a fluke, you rise by fluke and you can fall by fluke. But if you go step by step on a ladder and make your profession in a step by step way, then everything that needs to fall in place, like acceptance of your parents, which is the only thing that really mattered to me. Baki to जब मैं engineering करता था, even then they used to speak about me, and even after I climb mountains, then somebody else speaks about me.
Right.
So that's really what, the only thing that mattered was parents के दो concerns. One was how will he earn money by climbing mountains, which is a
Right.
very genuine concern,
True.
because
True.
the stepping into the world,
Right.
all these dreams of climbing mountains and this and that, all the passion talk and all that can only be done when your stomach is full.
Absolutely.
Stomach not full, the only thing that a human being thinks about is where will I get my next meal.
Right.
So that was very important. And the second concern was safety,
Right.
because climbing mountains, no matter how small or big, has this danger danger element to it. And parents can never fully be okay with it, but they saw eventually that I am very responsible with my decisions and my actions in the mountains.
Right.
So that brings some trust. I have turned around on most of my expeditions actually. Over 70% of my expeditions have failed. Why? Because somewhere conditions were not right, sometimes health was not right, sometimes planning was not right. And in times like these, if you have that dispassion towards the goal, that no, conditions are not right,
It's like this podcast. You know you can do it again some other day,
You-
but you don't want to take the risk.
you can do it again some other day. The mountain is gonna be there.
Yeah.
We are the mere mortals.
Right.
We are the ones who might not make it back if we push our luck. So parents saw this,
Right.
that every time there was a bad time, I could turn around.
Right.
So money and safety, these were the two things which I wanted to concern, and that happened in a very well engineered way. It has to happen like that.
True.
Very well said. I'm gonna use this next time everywhere I speak.
So the thing is, I've noticed this very common when it comes to adventure and sporting, that people always just consider it as a side gig or something to just de-stress, but then a lot of us want to make that change, no matter what your age is. If it's your young ages, it's still fine, and I think you did that change around what age, Parth?
18, 19.
18, 19. That's amazing. And there are these others who've done jobs all the way up until 30 or 40, and then you're like, man, I'm done. Now I got to get into whatever my passion was, or whatever I've realized is my way to go. And making that switch is absolutely not easy.
Hmm.
But what do you do nowadays on that corporate level? What gives you that adrenaline?
Well, whatever you said, I'm gonna break it down a little bit because this is a age-old, eternal dilemma that everybody faces. People who are in the corporate world, for example, they look at me and they feel, yeah, no, this is life.
Huh.
And people like me, for example, they look at the other side of the world like they have so much freedom in terms of money
Right.
that they can do whatever they want. Like the biggest challenge in our field is the money part.
Yeah.
So whatever we have, we never appreciate that, but whatever others have, we always tend to look at that. And it is very normal for a human being from time to time, every 5 6 years, for their life's vision to change, for their life's inclination to change. So it is not that I started climbing mountains, this is it, I have to do it. If everybody is honest with themselves, after every 5 6 years, you want to change something in your life. But we are so stuck by the responsibilities and loans and the expectations and whatever, that even if you want to change, you can't change. And then we start telling ourselves that no, I started this, I have to stick with this no matter what. I think that's a very stupid way. A human life is very fluid, and with life's circumstances, things must change.
Right.
Like when I started climbing mountains, I started climbing it for me. After I climbed Everest, I realized, okay, I climbed it, and I had hoped that after climbing Everest, my life would be absolutely fulfilled and satisfied within myself. Like the chase would stop, I would reach a place where I would be, absolutely must. Exactly opposite happened.
Right.
For 9 years, I had Everest to chase, climbed it, came back. Now what? I thought, okay, another mountain. Maybe I will climb that. Then what? Another mountain. Then what? So, this is a very fundamental, eternal problem that a human being has always had. If you want a Lambo, you got it. Then you want a Bugatti. You got that Bugatti, then you want a Koenigsegg. So, it's an endless chase. What I realized, the second step towards being a little bit more, you know, profound within yourself is to not live for my goals, my dreams, my desires, me is very, very shallow, surface level way of existing.
True.
Now, when I lead a person, for example, just 4 days back, I was standing on Everest Base Camp.
Right.
One client,
One
she,
person.
yeah, she had asked me to be just one on one.
Right.
When I made her reach Everest Base Camp, it's the wrong way to say. When we reached Everest Base Camp, somehow I was the channel, I was the medium, I trained her, I led her, I took care of her health, ups and downs, physically and mentally. And after 11 days of struggle, when I saw her in tears at the base camp, I just looked up at the summit. I'm like, this happiness I did not feel when I was standing on top of the world.
True.
When you live for others,
Mm.
that is a much more profound way of existing.
Right.
So this is what I'm doing now. Coaching people to climb mountains, leading people, and I can't explain to you, man, the tears
Yeah.
that I saw.
Right.
I keep seeing those tears,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the tears I had on the top of the world means nothing compared to this. So there is a time
Right.
to live for yourself.
Yeah.
You do that,
Right.
then you realize it's not about you after all.
Mm.
But for that realization to actually happen, you have had to fulfill the shallow surface level whatever dreams you might have had.
Mm.
वो पूरा करना जरूरी है to
Right.
move to the next deeper level.
True.
And then there are deeper levels also which we can get into, but yeah, this is what my life has been right now.
I recently came across this news. I don't know about whether you've heard of it, but there was this lady from the south. I don't know if it's Kerala or not.
Bro, her family messaged me, so you please complete the story. Yeah,
No, no, no. So
I'll tell you.
I just saw this glimpse in a reel or something, and I don't even know if the facts are right, but she's a cleaner that cleans around the town, and her dream was to go in a sari and visit or
Everest
reach
Base
the,
Camp.
yeah, the base camps. And I was like, that's it, like if anybody wants, they can do it. It's not about age or background or whatever. But for me, that was a आपको जो खुशी हुई, I can understand it because you were you were the crutches for that person to reach this person, I presume. But this is a person who would be mocked by family, society, everybody. Are you nuts? And she made it. I don't know. For me, I melted when I saw the reel. So I'm sure you have a story to say.
Bro, it's so funny. Even I saw a article online.
Okay.
Somebody sent it to me that 59-year-old lady in sari from Kerala
Yes.
reached Everest Base Camp watching YouTube videos.
Correct.
And next day, I get a message from some guy. That guy happened to be the family member of this lady, and he was like, she watched your videos.
Oh.
So that's when I realized that the videos that I'm making since 4 5 years about climbing mountains, it's I started making it because I wanted to express my experiences and my learnings. There was too much happening in my head, just had to come out.
You've been watering for a while, and the flowers have also been blooming. But
And yeah,
it's the people who get to, like take the fragrance of
absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. And when I got to know that she found some guidance in my videos, I'm like, my job is done. When I was young, I used to have this underconfidence, and I was so screwed up in my head. I was like, I will never do anything big in my life. I will never be able to impact anybody in my life. And just one goal I had, not a goal, just one desire, that as a human being, if I'm able to affect even one life, to change even 1 degree of direction in their life, that would be the biggest thing. And here, now, somehow, few decades later, I don't know where the videos are reaching, and I would really like to meet that lady and tell her that you have fulfilled my life. You don't know that.
I think we can make that happen. Let's see. Huh? I mean, look at it, like all corners of the country being inspired, and I'm sure there'll be people beyond as well contacting you. I'm sure there are people from abroad contacting you as
Of
well.
course.
Yeah,
Of course.
right. And it's definitely a feat in itself, and everything comes with its challenges. I actually met someone else who's also an Everest summiteer. He's done the summit from
Who?
Kerala. I'll come back to you on his name.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
I'll check the name. I spoke to him. Okay, I'll start again because I'm coming to a narrative.
Hmm.
Okay, so connected to this, there's something else that's also cooking up, and that is a pursuit of three females in Kerala to become the first Kerala woman to summit Everest. It's a title that is still not yet claimed. I'm not going to mention who they are specifically because it's a sort of friendly battle that's going on between them. So as a part of that, I did a few rounds of inquiries, especially had to do that with Keralites. And I know there are at least 5 men who've already done the absolute summit. And I contacted one of them. Now, this person had a similar story to say, and that is it's not all the glory that you get from just doing the summit. And I said, why? Because you're still one amongst the few, and you can count with your bare hands how many have done the summit from down south. He said, Azhad, for this, I had to go pillar to post. I had to make what I didn't have in terms of funds. And I'm still paying off my loan after many years. And I like that I'm like, what do you mean? Because a lot of people have this view that you can do the summit and then find sponsors as being the Everest summiteer, go up to places, be that inspiration. Not exactly the case. Not exactly the case. I know you have a journey too, a journey of toiling and just like what I said, pillar to post.
Absolutely. You know, I always say this. Raising the funds for Everest was more difficult than climbing Everest. Because climbing, I knew. I've learnt it, I've practiced it, I've desired it, and I've lived for it. But this whole other aspect of raising the funds was something nobody guided me with. No mentors around me to tell me how to raise funds, and everything on my own, trial and error, finding my way. One attitude which I always kept with me while raising the funds was that the bigger the goals, the bigger your problems will be, the
Right.
bigger the obstacles in the way will come.
True.
There are two kinds of people in this scenario. 99% people who even write to me, some young men and women, rather boys and girls, they've not become men and women yet.
That young, yeah.
No, so they tell me, oh, we want to climb Everest. I'm like, okay, sign up for the basic course. If you show me the confirmation, I'll give my life to prepare you. They don't even have that courage to even sign up for the course. They just want to speak to me and find reasons why it is hard. So they'll say, ki, nahi, I couldn't do it because of this, because I don't have time, because it takes so much money. Solacing themselves. 99% people in the world are like that. Start a journey, problem comes, they give excuse, and they use that excuse as a psychological therapy for themselves.
Right.
I couldn't do it because of this. They feel better about it.
Right.
They feel okay about being a bloody quitter,
Okay.
right?
Right.
1% people say, okay, I have a goal, there are problems, but there are always solutions to every problem. Either you can be problem oriented or solution oriented.
Right.
Either you can be a victim or you can be somebody who finds solutions.
Or play a victim.
Either you can play a victim or play the solutions.
Yeah.
So this was one thing was always clear in my mind, that if not Everest, then I don't know what to do. So it's plan A or die. I have to make it happen. Why I'm re-emphasizing on this fact again and again, because to raise the money for Everest, you really need to have that mentality, especially in India, because you have to go, as you said, pillar and post. Every door you knock, expect that you will hear ulta sida. They will not support you. They will cross question you in an insulting way, and you will be left dejected and destroyed.
Even from high ranking people.
Especially from the high ranking people, especially from the people who think that they have the moral high ground, to tell you. I went to
Yeah.
somebody, he told me, you are a young 22-year-old boy, well educated, well spoken. Why are you climbing mountains? Why don't you wait and watch in my own way by climbing mountains? So that's the mentality which I had, and no matter what comes, there is a solution. I will never fall into the victim mode. And there was nobody around me to
Right.
hold me back when I fall.
Yeah.
It was me and myself alone. And I think that whole journey of 2 years of preparation and fundraising, that's what made Everest much more sweeter, the success. But yes, I went to around 150, 160 meetings personally, uh, to ask for funds from corporations, from NGOs, from builders to steel giants and politicians, of course. Everybody who you can name, top politicians in our country and our state. I went to all of them.
And I'm sure there are a lot of people still doing that, thinking they would get preferential treatment from someone or something.
Absolutely, man. And some people make it happen because they have the contacts, they have the strings to pull, and that's good. It's a game of, who has the best contacts, who can pull the best strings. That's how it is. But for me, I was all by myself. I used to stay in Karjat, which is around 2 hours away from Mumbai, for my training. 5 a.m. waking up every day till 8:30 training, and then cooking my food and everything, packing my dabba, catching the CST local train from Karjat, to come for the meetings. I used to come in normal shorts and everything, and then when I used to reach the corporate building, I used to change into the good clothes, because otherwise, the train journey would have really screwed up the clothes. So
Right.
I did that for 2 years, rejection after rejection. But this one mindset I had, that he said, no, no problem.
Yeah.
There's, billions of more people in the world with some money. So
And I
through
think I think the masters did that for you through crowdfunding as well.
yes, so through these meetings, I was able to generate zero revenue, and I wasted a lot of time because I didn't know how to pitch a sponsor. Then one guy who was very kind, only kind guy I met in a suit, he told me, Beta, it's very hard the way you are going to get a sponsorship. Why don't you try crowdfunding? मैंने बोला,
This
crowd
was what year?
this was 2018 start,
Right.
like 1 year and four
Pre-COVID.
months prior.
Yeah.
I went in 2019 to Everest. And this guy said, why don't you try crowdfunding? I said, what is crowdfunding?
Mm.
That's how ignorant I was. It's like, it's basically asking for contributions from people who have been following your journey. Basically, चंदा मांगना है लोगों से, भीख मांगनी है कि दे दो भाई, मेरा सपना है, आप पैसा दो. That's how it sounds. And I'm raised in a family where we never asked even 1 rupee from anybody. Like, pride comes over anything else.
Absolutely.
But while I was in the local train going back, I was like, Parth, your dreams are much bigger than your stupid pride or your ego. Why do you have pride?
And if you
What do
find
you?
people who relate to your dreams, nothing like it.
And I didn't know they would. So that's what I said to myself, that why do I have pride? For what? Try. What's the worst that will happen? People will say no. And people actually started contributing when I rolled out the keto crowdfunding page. Somebody gave me 500 rupees, somebody gave me 5 lakh rupees, and I was like, wow, these are people who have seen your struggle, your dream, your desire, and they gave you this money without expecting anything in return.
Absolutely.
And that is the biggest blessing, more than the money. It was the blessings and the good wishes that the contributions brought to me, which really made me fueled up more for my journey. Ki now it's not just me, I'm not answerable to them, but they are a part of my journey now. They are with me. Around 50% of the amount I was able to raise through crowdfunding, and my father gave me around 30% of more amount, and 20% of the amount we took as a loan, which I just repaid off 1.5 year back. It took me 4.5 years, as you were saying, to repay the loans, because even after I climbed Everest, I thought, you know I will be called here and there, and I was called here and there, huh? Every politician who said no to me called me. They wrote to me on Instagram, those assholes, and called me, "You don't cut this, he follows me, he knows who he is, I'm gonna make this a reel and make him watch it." So all the press conference and everything happened, but when I asked for some support, not for Everest but for the next expedition, they stopped talking to me, like, eventually. So that's the reality, and that's when I really realized that how much effort I had put into raising the funds. If I had put that effort into building my own work, earning my own money, I would have been at a much permanent solution place. That's what I am doing now.
Right.
That whatever I want to climb, I will climb it with my own money. If I don't climb, I don't climb. I don't want to now go out and beg for money. Once you do it, it's okay. It was a very beautiful journey. As I said, over 2,000 people contributed, man. 2,000 people from all across the world, in a way. That campaign went viral, and I was like, these are the people, not with a lot of money, but with a very big heart, you know, who give 500 rupees out of no expectation.
Yeah.
And that is something, bro. That shows that there is
There's
more
hope.
good in the world than what we,
Uh,
always imagine.
True. Did these people reach out back to you? I don't.
Yes.
I mean, like, I'm sure there are people who don't expect anything. But how was it? Like, what is it like?
Only the people who I had taken loans from were hounding me, of course. So, मेरा पैसा दे दो, मेरा पैसा दे दो, अब तो एवरेस्ट चढ़ लिया
अब काम हो गया.
है. तो see, loan is a loan, right?
Yeah.
They expect money, and there's nothing wrong with that.
True.
Nothing wrong with that. But the contributors, they never asked for money back. Of course not. And the only way they reached out to me was to congratulate me and ask my experience, how it was.
Absolutely.
That's all. They never asked for money back.
Amazing.
And they just, some of them, some of them I don't even know who they are. On the crowdfunding page, they did not even write their name. Anonymous, 5,000 rupees, 8,000 rupees. I'm like, man, if I ever meet you, I'll give you such a nice hug, man. Because you didn't even want to be recognized by your name.
True.
That ये नाम ने इतना पैसा दिया.
In.
Bro, there is a lot of good in this world. More good than we... all the good things in life are very subtle, very silent, not loud and bombastic.
Yeah.
All the evil in the world is loud, bombastic. You see it, eye-catching. News all day shows all the evil, but they won't show the anonymous guy who gave me 8,000 rupees, for example.
True.
So we get this perception that the world is so screwed up, but it's not.
Until it happens to yourself.
Yes, I mean, screwed up things happen to everybody.
And the good things as well.
But if you look at yourself, or anybody, if you look at your life, 99% of the times it is always good things happening. You are sitting here, AC is on, it is good. I'm here talking to you nicely. You are here talking to me nicely.
True.
99% of the world is always good. 1% something bad happens, and then your whole perception changes that the world is evil, the world did me bad. And I know, you idiot. One wrong thing happened. Move on. 99 good things are happening to you. You are breathing, you are alive. No, those 99 people on the street did not crash you. That is a good thing happening to you. People have lost perspective. When we are, for example, if somebody pricks you with a small needle, nobody is pricking your whole body, but that one place will call for all the attention.
That's true.
Negativity is like that.
Yeah.
That is adventure talk.